Coming up on Tech Edge, it's learning about Latin America. My name is Guy Trainin, and this is Tech Edge. And today we're going to talk about learning about Latin America. And I know that in different states, at different points in the curriculum, we learn about, or we teach our students about Latin America. And I want to talk about 4 different apps that can be used. Really, what it is these apps or similar apps can be used for almost every area in the world. So even if it's something dedicated to Latin America, often there's a counterpart that will work just as well for Southeast Asia or for Europe or anywhere else. So the first app that I'd like to talk about, or the first 2 apps really that I'd like to talk about, both focus on the geography, capitals, borders, and locations, and help kids really learn those and practice. This is fairly rote. In general, it doesn't have a lot of information, but it does help contextualize the geographic information that we can then use for other purposes. And it is important for students to know where things are and where they're located vis-a-vis each other, how big they are, etc. So let's start with the first one. It's Montessori Geography. And the reason I like this app is it has multiple representations that really help. In this case, we're looking at Brazil, and this is the South America Montessori approach to geography. And if I press this button, Brazil, and it shows the shape of the country and then where it is, and we can click on that, or we can move to the next one, which would be Peru. And then it shows us where it is on the map of Latin America. And if you can see, you can actually move forward. So this is the part of the South America Montessori approach to geography that talks about names and location. There's a puzzle map, names, for example. So if it is Bolivia, you have to guess which shape it is, and then put it in the it'll put it in the right place. So Bolivia in the center of Latin America, and now it'll move through those. That is based on name, and puzzle map will go to shapes.
Argentina.
And this is
Brazil.
Really a good practice for kids to know where the countries are and really get that visual orientation to Latin America. So this is called Montessori Approach to Geography, South America. The next app that I want to talk about is Geo Expert Lite. And this one has both countries and capitals and nice music. Let's turn that off so we can actually do this. And if you look at countries, the map is very similar. And what you have to do here is actually find it on the map. So there's no shape, like the Montessori one had the shape. Here you have to know where it is. Paraguay, Uruguay, and when it's not, it'll just kind of pop. And if you get the mistake more than once, and I'll show that, let's say I'm guessing wrong, it gives you the right answer. So this was Brazil, not Venezuela. And if you make the mistake twice, or make a mistake twice, it'll actually show you where it is, and then you can get it. You can see that there's a score on the bottom right, how many right, how many wrong, how many you got after making one mistake. If we go back home, if you go back home, you can see that there's a game and there's practice mode. In practice mode, you explore the map the same way that you would in any other way. And if we go to new game, our other option is, of course, to go to capitals. And it gives you the name of the capital, in this case Brasilia, and you're supposed to hit the country. A little bit more complicated because you got to know where the country is and what capital fits what country. So there's 2 levels of knowledge here that are important. Again, Geo Expert Lite. The next 2 apps that I want to point at are at a much higher level, and they include a lot of data about any country in the world, not just Latin America, but I think they can be used definitely if you're teaching about Latin America. The first one comes from the United Nations, and it's called Country Stats. And what you do in Country Stats, and as it is coming up, you can choose countries. Let's choose a country that's in South America, Argentina, and another one, and you can jump using the letters. Let's compare it to Mexico. Okay, and then you can say, okay, what indicator do you want to compare them on? And let's say I want to compare them on a agricultural production index and on GDP, gross domestic product. Here is where gross domestic product was for Argentina, and here is what it was for Mexico. And you can see this across different years, and it's a little bit hard to see on the screen as far as I can see, but you can see results from 2000, 2005, and 2009. And actually the UN updates this app, so as more data comes out, you can find out more things, and you can also separate it by year, so you can get just the year 2000 and you can do a comparison, etc. And you can, again, you can change indicators. So for example, we can look at internet users per 100 people, and we can look at the graphs, and we can see that there's a lot of growth in both areas. So this is called United Nations Country Stats. The next one is a very similar one, and it draws on a much richer database, and this is called World Figures, and it's from The Economist, probably one of the best sources for data like this. And this is very high level. You don't want to give this to elementary students. Middle schools and up will probably work a lot better. And there are a few ways to explore these maps. One is country profiles, so you can actually look for a country, and I love this interface. The globe interface is fantastic, and you can look at Latin America right here, and we can look at Peru, for example, and get some basic information: how much population, what is the GDP per person, median age, etc. But you can also go to full profile, so you get a lot more information about that country, and you can compare it to other countries. You can also see who they're trading with. Again, really, really helpful as you move along. And if you want, you can also see where they're ranked in the world as far as other economies. So there are a lot of other kinds of data organized in very different ways. And again, you can do country profiles, but you can also use the compare tool, where you look at the ranking and then you select multiple countries. For example, we can look at Argentina. So we'll look at aid, and we can see largest recipient of bilateral aid, and then we can look at 2 countries. Let's say Colombia and Haiti. And then we do compare. And just like in the previous app, you can see the results for those 2 countries. And you can see it on the bottom. And there's also a map showing you where they are in the world and what their ranks are. I don't know if you can see this, but you can actually enlarge this map and see their ranks. So we reviewed 4 apps. All 4 really help learn about Latin America in different ways. First, just the geography, and then some country indicators that include a much wider variety of information. And this is it for this time. See you next time on Tech Edge.